So I wanted to weigh in on the feud between Jimmy Dore and TYT, etc. And I've been kind of thinking about this for a while, and I've been wanting to do it, but I feel now is the time. So the situation is this: I was a Bernie Sanders supporter way before I knew about any of this stuff. I was reading articles online. It was mainly reading online, and I listened to the Tom Hartman show and a radio program here in Denver called a radio station called Progressive Talk, AM 760, which no longer exists. It's defunct and became a part of Clear Channel, I believe, the station that's there now, which was purportedly a right wing outfit. But the situation is indeed this.
Acorns Early takes the work.
I started seeing this stuff pop up during the 2015-2016 campaign. Kind of like I was late getting to it, and it was just interesting because like, okay, this is everything I believe, and I had no idea these YouTube channels existed. And I think TYT might have been the first one that I came across, and then it would suggest other ones. So I started watching a whole bunch of different ones, and I still do. I watch a whole bunch of different ones. Jimmy Dore, TYT, Secular Talk, The Humanist Report, David Pakman, Sam Cedar, all of them I've watched at one time or another, and on the Ring of Fire, on and on and on and on they go. And this latest situation is absolutely crazy because they're at their TYT and Jimmy Dore are absolutely at each other's throats, and now there are allegations of sexual harassment. Jimmy Dore versus one of the hosts, Anna Kasparian, and I have to say, out of all of them, I'm the biggest fan of Jimmy Dore because I love his passion, his anger, his hatred. He knows that there's something slimy going on within the Democratic Party, and he calls it out with such vigor, and that's I love that. Now, I just got done watching David Pakman. I wanted to see what David Pakman thought about all this, and David Pakman, he's somebody that does one of these programs, and he always says, like, I don't follow this, I don't watch this, but I'm going to give you a list of individuals that I know for sure aren't grifters. These ones are grifters. These ones are authentic, and the other ones I don't know. I don't want to weigh in on it, but it's suspicious the ones that he leaves out, including Jimmy Dore. But he gives a list: Sam Cedar, he says is not a grifter. Anna Kasparian. Kink Hyungir, I can never get his name right. Farron Cousins, Joe Rogan. Well, I don't think he has really a left show, but he said he's authentic in his opinions. Kyle Kalinske. Okay, so I've got to take issue because Sam Cedar, David Pakman was stating that they don't do it for the clicks, they don't do it for money. Sam Cedar has continually made videos about Jimmy Dore, really attacking him. And when you watch Sam Cedar's show, he seems pretty good. His ideals are socialist. I can't see anything wrong with his opinions. It's just that he's extremely boring. The guy's a comedian, if you can believe that. The guy is the most boring person on earth, but his opinions are great. But he's constantly attacking Jimmy Dore. I think, if I didn't think he was so stupid, I would say he is really nefarious. And then he gets his host to pile in, his co-hosts, and it's obvious that he's doing it because he wants people to watch his channel. He wants people to click on his channel to see what he's saying about Jimmy Dore. But there's got to be something, because their opinions seem to line up. He has to have something personal against Jimmy Dore. And I think what it is Jimmy Dore came in fairly late and is becoming much more successful than Sam Cedar. And he's got glasses. So Sam Cedar is being very inauthentic. He he's trying to get people to click on his videos. He's trying to take some of Jimmy Dore's audience. I mean, that's obvious. And then he trashes him because it's jealousy. It's jealousy. Jimmy Dore's entertaining, Sam Cedar isn't. Jimmy Dore has moved in on his space and kind of taken his lane, and that is pathetic. That is ridiculous. So that's, to me, that's all it could be. Okay, and then now let's go to TYT. What's the issue with TYT? So I really looked at this one because I wasn't sure. I'm a Jimmy Dore fan. The way his performance, I guess I should say, for lack of a better word, I like the way his anger, the way he talks about issues. So maybe a little biased toward Jimmy Dore, but I wanted to be objective, and I wanted to see if Cenk Uygur was telling the truth regarding force the vote, because he said if you don't vote for Nancy Pelosi in the House for House Speaker, then the Republican McCarthy, he could become Speaker of the House. Well, when you look at the rules, I don't have the rules right in front of me, but I looked at them, and I encourage you to do the same thing. There was no way for McCarthy to become Speaker. So now the question is Cenk Uygur, is he lying, or is he just uninformed? Is he naive? He can look this stuff up. This guy works in media. This guy looks stuff up all day. He's lying. He's lying. Okay, so because when you look at the rules, they would go to a revote. I don't have it right in front of me, but it wasn't going to happen. I encourage you to look up the rules for electing Speaker of the House. Okay, so now I've got to start looking at David Pakman and Sam Cedar and others, because now I don't know if they're telling the truth. That's how it works, because you're getting behind a guy who either doesn't know or is lying, and it's much more likely that he's lying. Why would he not want there to be a vote on Medicare for all? Why would he not want that? He seems to. So that is very, very suspicious. And then he comes out and says Aaron Mate is paid by the Russians. How would he have any evidence on whether Aaron Mate is paid by the Russians? And so it's very slowly, very efficiently, Mate and Dore totally dismantle them and show us where the lies are. Now are some of the points a little stretched, like they're talking about sex or whatever? I don't, whatever. It did seem pretty over the line, some of it, absolutely. But I think Dore was trying to show, hey, they're accusing me of sexual harassment. Look what they're doing. And some of it did seem close to over the line. Okay, so now Secular Talk jumps in and says, hey, I agree with Jimmy and Aaron Mate on these issues with TYT as far as the Syrian gas attacks, force the vote, etc. But I disagree because of the way he spoke about Anna. And so then Jimmy Dore goes back at him. So again, I think I do like him. That Secular Talk, Kyle Kalinske. I think he tries to be very logical in his views, and he tries to really take the logical perspective. So I thought Jimmy Dore went at him a little hard, but again, Jimmy Dore wasn't lying. Somebody's accusing you of sexual harassment. You want to speak about the situation as honestly as possible if you think that you're innocent. So I understand, but the original video, I think that I might be wrong, said, Kyle Kalinske exposed or something. And I don't think that's right, because I don't think he said he agreed with you on 90% of it, So I think that's, you're maybe getting into some dangerous territory where you're saying exposed, because then it's like, well, you're kind of saying that his position is nefarious, and it could be, but from viewing his videos, it doesn't appear to be. But I got to tell you, I have huge questions about Sam Cedar, about TYT. I mean, there were a plethora of lies coming from TYT, a plethora. So why? When you look at his credentials, when you look at Cenk Uyghur's credentials, turning down MSNBC, the story why Cenk Uyghur turned down MSNBC, the story given to the viewers, is that he was pretty much asked to sell out, and he refused to do so. And on paper, that he did get a job offer to host, I believe, a weekend program, and he turned it down. And he's no longer at MSNBC. Well, is it possible something else went down there? I mean, it was actually he was being taken off his daily program, I believe, if memory serves correct. And that was a shot to the ego, and maybe he just decided he didn't want to work there anymore. So maybe it had nothing to do with selling out. And maybe what's happening now has everything to do with him selling out. So when we look at that credential that, okay, well, he turned down the MSNBC gig, doesn't that give him some credentials? That was a shot to his ego. That was a shot to his ego because I believe he was being reduced from a 5, if memory serves correct, a 5-day-a-week program down to 2 on the weekends. And that was just, he didn't want it. That was a shot at his ego, and it was sort of a demotion. So it has nothing to do with him selling out, the way he explained it. Now he's taken all this money, right? All this outside money from whomever